What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. We're seeing more properties like this being built in front of a house that's going to be torn down soon. I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is a commercial real estate building. I'm joined today with John Saible. John, how you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm fantastic because, after all, my very favorite audience member is joining us today. And why is my favorite audience member here today? Is because this is a chance encounter where I interview commercial real estate syndicators, buyers, sellers, operators, all that kind of stuff. And why do I do that? Well, it's because I'm an insider. And when you're a commercial real estate insider, you find out that most of the deals out there are private deals that you're not allowed to discuss with people unless you have a documented prior substantive relationship. And so that's part of what we're doing here. We're finding out if there's any overlap, and I'm making sure that you learn how to effectively communicate on the subject of commercial real estate and how my guest fits into deals. But before we get too excited on that, John, you want to say a couple things to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Thanks for having me, Dan. John Saible, out of Tampa, Florida. I am currently been involved in multifamily syndicating for about 11 months now. I have two business partners, both based out of Tampa as well. Our target markets are Little Rock, Arkansas, and Jonesboro, Arkansas.
All right, beautiful. So the next section that we go off of, it's already started up. It's not the tolerance for risk assessment. If I go all the way back here, then we already see it. It's the 5 distinct motivations that I always go through next, and that's because we need to know why people are doing it. After all, these acquisitions, they can take months, and they're not exactly fun. There are lots of different risks. But before that, I got to say, but wait, check your 8. John, I don't know if you have the uncanny ability to look through the camera lens into the audience's screen and see if they have the red subscribe button or if they have the gray subscribed button, because the gray one's way okay. That's just a joke. Anyway, let's get through the 5 different distinct motivations that show me what commercial real estate investors are all about. The first motivation I found: some people are looking to preserve their purchasing power. And what's that all about? It means they've already got a portfolio of assets and they make ends meet from the profits of ownership. Now, when they decide to make a new acquisition, generally there's only 2 reasons. One would be because of inflation eating away at the purchasing power. Again, you're not going to want to be getting rid of your assets. The other reason would be is if there's an asset crash and you can buy at a steep discount. That's the other reason why people in this category would be making their next acquisition. But that's not me. The ones for me, it's closer to trading time directly for wealth. I got a background in CRM, e-commerce technology, so accepting credit cards through your CRM and segmenting your lists and building your online funnels like that. But the problem of being a high salary or wage earner is you pay more in tax than anybody else. So it hit me, why don't I pivot into something where I can get rewarded in the form of deployed equity, aka capital? So that's what I'm up to. But some people, they're attracted to commercial real estate because they're trying to take over their schedule. That might mean that they work fewer weeks per month. It might mean that they work fewer months per year. It might mean actually fast tracking to retirement. But believe it or not, that's not everybody. Some people, that's not what they're after. Like these guys here, they are so ambitious. They want to buy their entire hometown. They want that generational wealth to make sure that their great grandchildren never have to hold a day job. And that's why they make their acquisitions. And they're great because they're going to be hustling into their 90s, which is often true of this last group here of the 5 distinct motivations. People who have picked a sector of society, or maybe it's the environment, maybe it's animals, who knows what it is, but they've realized that you need a substantial financial backing if you're going to make a really big splash in a sector of society or something like that. So, John, of those 5 different motivations, what combination of them would you say describes you best?
Certainly the generational wealth is certainly number one.
Mhm.
Trading time for money. Similar to you, I have a or had a intense job where I'm working a tremendous amount of hours, get paid well, but it's a significant amount of time devoted to that. So
Mhm.
those are really my two.
Excellent, excellent. So the next question I have then is because you get a lot of newbies coming into commercial real estate. They see that it's like, oh, they're taking over buildings. They're like, we're $5 million, $10 million, $350 million. Like, who knows what it is? So I need to make sure that before you even get involved, that you understand some of the risks that come along with this. So please fill in this blank, John. There are many popular investment asset classes, but I think blank is too risky. It can be real estate, it can
Crypto.
be non-real estate. What do you think?
Crypto.
Crypto, yeah, yeah.
I
Anything
think that's
specific about why crypto?
uh no, I just think the volatility with it. If you're looking to hold very long term, yes, I think it's a possibility. If you're looking to get out within 1 to 2 years for whatever situation you need, yeah, I think that's an extremely risky asset class to be in.
I completely agree. I completely agree. And that brings us to commercial real estate specifically. And to make sure that you understand how John fits in deals, you got to have to understand the rules in a deal. And to do that, I use the Dan Does Deals core competency cubes that you can get from dandoesdeals.com. You can get your own copy and print it out for free. I don't even ask for your email address, but you go to dandoesdeals.com, you can print it out, and then you can show it to your friends, you can practice, and then that way you will be able to explain how this stuff works. And in every episode of Chance Encounters, I go through all 6 sides just to make sure you got this stuff locked. So let's talk about repositioners first. The repositioner is the acquisitions person. So they're looking at a bunch of different properties and they're doing a bunch of different paperwork. But what are they doing with that paperwork? Well, there's a fancy word for it. They are underwriting the deal. That means they're doing the math. They're doing the arithmetic to figure out, first of all, is this property even making the amount of money that the broker or seller claims it is? And what the repositioner is really looking for, though, is upside. They're figuring out how can I change this property so it makes more money than it does right now. And the first place they can look is to the financiers. If they get more advantageous lending, in other words, a cheaper loan, then that goes straight to what we call the NOI, the net operating income to the building. And that means the building is worth more, the business is worth more. So that's why they're going to look there first to try and figure out how to make more money. But usually that's going to be little slivers. So the repositioner next is going to be looking at the operations. They're going to stop these Benjamins from going down the toilet. But there's more than just unclogging toilets. And once you get to bigger deals, the operations are often outsourced. So that means that part of operations will be an asset management role. But me personally, how I contribute in asset management, it has to do with my automation skills. It also has to do with my marketing skills, which comes in to make sure that the vacancy rate stays low. But operations, once again, it's not going to be enough for most properties for a lot of repositioners to find upside. So they're going to look to a contractor team. If you fix the place up, then the next tenants will be happy to pay more than the previous ones, and there's your upside right there. But of course, doing contractor work is super duper expensive and it requires a lot of oversight. And some repositioners are just like me. See, I'm from the internet. So that means I need locals. I need boots on the ground, somebody who can be there in an hour or so, because that's not going to be me. In an hour or so, I'd be stuck at an airport. So that local is a key part of the team to keep an eye on the contractors and the operators. But once they've got that whole team and the repositioner has the deal in mind, they turn around to the financier, says, hey, I got this deal. It's worth tens of millions of dollars. You don't happen to have, say, tens of millions of dollars you want to lend us to buy this, do you? Well, the financier is going to have one other question on their mind that I haven't addressed, which is, who's your sponsor KP? And what that's all about is if you want to be eligible for a commercial loan, you need somebody in the fold who already owns a similar asset. Okay. Or else the answer is no. It doesn't matter if you're Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, you want to borrow money, you have to have somebody in the fold who already owns it so you won't run it into the ground. But on top of that, you also need a certain amount of liquidity, and then you also need a balance sheet among the ownership team of at least the amount of the loan. But if you have all those pieces, you got yourself a commercial real estate deal. So, John, as far as your core competencies go, what are you most likely to contribute to your next deal?
I'm the repositioner.
You're the reposition. Okay, great. And then yeah, I imagine you probably do some finance here, like investor relations as well, or you're just really focusing on the time, and then you have other people on the financier side.
Oh, we do a little bit of both.
Right, right,
I think the entire team is devoted to, we'll call investor relations,
right, right. Exactly.
and quote unquote finance here. Yeah.
Yep, perfect, perfect, great. So the next question then has to do with the buy box. You're down in Florida, but let me be clear for you guys as far as what syndicators are looking for when they say what is your ideal property, what is your buy box. There's three things. First one, geography. Where is it? Okay, which state? Which county, possibly even which neighborhood. Okay, that's going to be very, very important. Second one is going to be size. When we're talking about multifamily, the size is dictated by the unit count usually. And the reason for that is because you got completely different teams who'd be taking down like 15 unit deals versus the ones who are taking down 500 unit deals. Okay. So size is very important. And then the third thing is class. John, I think you already mentioned some things about the classes, but we got some virtual assistants who watch and type stuff down for their syndicator employers. But when it comes to class, there's two different meanings for the exact same word. The first one has to do with the condition of the building. So that's like, how old is it? Is it up to date or is it ancient? Is it beat up? Does it have luxuries or is it totally bare bones? That's the first meaning of class. The second meaning of class is sometimes called area, and that has to do with the crime rate where the property is located and also the school districts, things like that. And both of those two meanings of class are both rated with the same system as in grade school, where it's A plus at the top and then A and then A minus, B plus, and so on. So John, once again, what's easier for you guys to say yes to and more difficult to say no to?
It's easier for us to say, in terms of class, we'll talk about C classes. It's typically what we target. It's easier for us to say yes to the Midwest compared to the Southeast due to cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
That's our most important metric.
Mm-hmm.
And we also obviously go for value add. And we'll go from anything from light to heavy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. And you said for unit count, I missed that part.
Oh, I'm sorry. Unit count. For our sweet spot is really 20 to 50.
20 to 50. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Good stuff. And then the next thing has to do with people, which I just love the fact that because it's so multifaceted, we all have different professionals who were disproportionately well suited to help, even though we're also eager to help people in general. Me personally, it's the sponsored KPs that I'm always eager to reach out to just because I'm the internet guy and the marketing guy and the CRM automations guy. So you need to have some sort of foundation already for me to make a disproportionate difference. Whereas when you're first getting started, you need grunts who are going to be, smiling and dialing like 80 to 120 hours a week. So, John, who are you best suited to help? But warning, if you have any 506B deals, don't entice investors because the SEC hates that and it's bad. But if you're doing a bunch of 506C deals, then you can go ahead and do whatever you want. But who on the die are you best suited to help?
Honestly, even being new is probably the sponsor in the KP.
Mm-hmm.
Because as the repositioner, they want to know in depth as to how I arrived at my numbers.
Right, right,
So
exactly.
I feel like I have a lot of conversations with them.
All right, perfect. So sponsors and KPs, be sure to reach out. And as far as how to reach out, it's I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I got a very distinct last name, makes me easy to find. This QR code right here, if you scan it with your phone, that goes to the FAQs page of my compliance documentation platform called 506BME. There's 506BME right there, so you see how it's written. And that means I can be your chief compliance officer for as little as $497 a year if you don't have a very demanding setup. But John, how about you? What are the best ways to reach out through either social media or email or phone? What's best?
I'm on LinkedIn as well. Literally John Sable. You can also my email is John at Corsa CORSA dash capital.com. Those are the two best ways to reach me.
Okay, beautiful. And then the last thing, it's actually not for you, John, it's for you in the audience. It's my PSA, which is many people have told me that they watch this show And then like for the first few episodes, they have this searing pain in their eyeballs and like migraines. And it's all because it's hard to believe, but it's all because of this awful, hideous red button that's just right down there. And if you just turn it to the gray one, you won't have that at all. It's really great and it's free. It costs you absolutely nothing. The benefit for me, of course, is that YouTube might actually start paying for these videos instead of me, and that'd be dope. But as far as you're concerned, all it means is that my videos might show up on your list of suggestions. You can go ahead and ignore those suggestions. I just appreciate the fact that you spent this time with me. Just like John, I appreciate you joining me today. This has been great getting to know you a little bit better.
Yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. Thanks. Make sure you 506B me. Any syndicators, make sure you 506B me.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Yeah, here's my code. You got your QR code scanner? Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just hold it right in the square there. Okay, cool. And now you hit open in browser.
Okay.
Okay. Are you already logged into 506B me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so there's my video. So now I'm already on your watch list. So when you get back to your hotel, you can find out what my core competencies are and my level of sophistication. Sound good?
Yeah.
I love your hat. Real estate's a scam. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you.
You too.
506B me, everybody.